Join us at Women of Courage and celebrate the achievements of women. Good afternoon, and thank you for tuning in. This is Gloria Lee, the moderator for the show Women of Courage. Wherever you are in the world, I need you to know one thing right now. You are amazing. I know you might be upset. I know you might be hurting. And I know you might be frustrated. I know because all of these things happened to me. I was homeless for 2 years, and all I had was a computer, my son, and a car. I want you to know you still have a purpose in life, and it is my job to help you believe that again. Do you want to believe? Can you see that the divorce was not meant to take you out? Can you believe that the lost house and the lost job is a setup for something greater? By the end of this broadcast, you'll be injected with so much that you cannot help but believe again. And I am going to help you do just that. Are you ready? I got some things I want to share with you. And I will even make suggestions on books and activities that you can implement, which will ultimately bring healing and wholeness to you. If you are ready to be healed, if you're ready to be whole, just jot down the pointers I give and watch your life transform. No matter what happened, no matter whose fault it was, today is a new day, and your time to live and be free is now. Join me in this journey to wholeness. Your time for total healing is now. Today you shall recover. Wholeness, healness, and peacefulness is in the mind. That is where all battles for life end and begin. During the last broadcast, we spoke of the importance of reading as it related to self-esteem. We are again going to discuss reading in a more practical fashion. Your ability to read or your willingness to read dictates the quality of your life. Oh yes, you can sell dope and live a great life for a while. Then the crisis sets in and you are off to prison, and your children will be separated or end up on the street, and the good times are over. Whereas if you learn to read, you would have at least a chance at a good life. Stop being seduced by the word easy. Selling your body or selling drugs is not easy. Reading is everything. If you cannot read, you are forever lost. Lost to your children, lost to the world, lost to yourself. You cannot take a driver's test, fill out an application for employment, get a library card, or read a menu. The best you can do is try to wait tables. Change and become a new and happier person. You must move forward to hope and change. If you do not think reading is important, we want you to read 3 books or have these 3 books read to you. The Devil's Cauldron, If You Believe in God, You Do Not Belong in Prison, and Be Not Defeated in Hard Times. After reading these books, write and tell us if you were not changed for the better. These are powerful books. The books provide information that will help you and your family. Read an excerpt from the books at touchbythelight.us. Spend your lunch hour reading some of our essays. The books are written on an 8th grade level. Think about this. If you come up with a money-making idea, you can't take advantage of it because you can't read. Lawyers can trick you into signing worthless agreements. Investors can trick you. If you take the idea to someone, they can trick you and leave you flat on your face. There are thousands of tricksters waiting for people like you. People with an idea, but no money and cannot read. You are a natural patsy. Do you know how many people get tricked by their own pastors each year when they hit the number or receive an insurance payout? Of course you do not know because you do not read. If you read the newspapers, you would know about misbehaving clergy. There are pastors out there doing all kinds of things. The only way for you to know is to read. Do not talk yourself out of an opportunity. Do not tell yourself you can't make $1,000,000. This type of thinking is foolish. You can do anything that you set your mind to do, but you must be able to read. If you concentrate on learning to read, you can turn your life around. How many opportunities have you missed in your life because you could not read? You cannot take advantage of an opportunity because you cannot read or do not want to read. You are afraid to take a chance because you know you cannot control the things occurring around you because of your lack of understanding due to your inability to read. A model was killed years ago by her boyfriend because of his lack of knowledge. He was afraid that he would lose his girlfriend because he was surrounded by people who could read where he could not. Yes, violence is based on the inability to read. Do not resign yourself to a mundane life, watching television, wishing you were the person sitting on the beach enjoying the view. People live miserable lives by telling themselves what they cannot do. That is correct. People with low self-esteem spend their lives telling themselves what they cannot do. They are the people who stand outside a restaurant with their nose pressed up against a window pane, peering in, watching people live the good life, wishing that life was theirs. Think about it. How many people do you think died with a money-winning idea in their heart? Your self-esteem and the self-image you have of yourself is also related to the amount of knowledge you have and the amount of money you have in the bank and the amount of money you earn per year. It leads you to self-awareness. Self-awareness is affected by the knowledge you have accumulated over the years. Many people are beaten down in the job market because of the lack of knowledge. They do not have enough information to compete. Your self-esteem is shattered when you go to the doctor and you know absolutely nothing about what he said to you, or you cannot pronounce the medication he has prescribed for you. Your self-esteem is also shattered when your son's teacher sends an assignment home and you cannot help your child with the assignment because you don't understand it. You do not have the foggiest idea what the teacher is talking about. You pretend to your child that you are too busy and you will later take him to the library. Are being kicked around and beaten up because of the lack of knowledge. You lack the ego strength to take the constant pounding against your self-esteem. There is a simple solution to this problem. Pick up a book because that is where the knowledge is found. Stop telling yourself that is the way it's always been. Stop allowing tradition to rule your life. Tradition is doing things the way your mother and father did. Change. But you don't pick up a book because you can't read. You need to take a stiff drink, admit you cannot read, and go to the library and ask the librarian to direct you to a program where you can be taught to read. Do not care how old you are. You need to learn to read. How can you help your grandchildren if you do not know how to read? How can you discuss a plea agreement with an attorney if you do not know how to read? How can you understand the charges? You cannot go to a library and look up the information because you cannot read. You are helpless. You are vulnerable. You're the perfect prey for the predator living around you. Is correct. There are men and women in your community looking for people who cannot read because they know that these people are vulnerable. You are the prey and they are the vulture. Do you know how many people die each year because they take medication that is prescribed for them wrongly? Pharmacists all over the country are trying hard to prevent these deaths. People are dying because they cannot read. Reading is the foundation of managing your life. It is the tentacle that connects the dots in your life. Say you are having a problem with your son, so you decide to take him to see a therapist. Okay, first, how do you find the therapist that you need? You're going to have to read something or depend on someone to tell you what to do. There are all type of therapists. Which one do you select for your son? When you speak to the therapist, how are you going to understand what he or she is saying if you are functioning with a poor vocabulary? How is she to give you instructions if you're operating your life on a fourth grade reading level? You are going to pretend that you understand her because you're going to nod your head. If you have not read a book since high school, you are so far behind you can't keep up with technology. When you see an opportunity, do not say to yourself that this opportunity is for someone else, someone greater than me. This is your low self-esteem talking, governing your behavior. That is not true. It is time to change. Think of the inheritance you will be leaving your children and grandchildren when you are successful. Children will be able to go to college, provide for their children, purchase a new car and a home. Negative thinking has killed more people than any war mankind has ever participated in. People go to their grave embittered because of negative thinking. And do not listen to your negative thinking talking girlfriend. Her mouth is always open, talking about what cannot be done. This is why she is so miserable, and probably why her husband has left her, or probably why she has never been married. When she speaks negatively, you become negative and spew death, not life, from your mouth. Your words become hate-filled words, not hope-filled words or life-filled words. You discourage everyone who comes in contact with you. If you read the life of Dale Carnegie, you will learn his life changed once he got tired of losing and decided to change his life by trying something new. It is not true that in time of famine and drought, everyone is doing bad and that everyone is suffering. This is a lie that the enemy tells people. God can bless you anywhere, anytime. You can be fed, clothed, and housed during a famine. Set your sights on a goal and believe in this opportunity that God has set before you. And remember, as God blesses you through his program, give back through your tithes and through your offering. If you have no church affiliation, then give directly to someone who is in need. One way you can give back is to make certain that children in your neighborhood are eating. Stop judging their parents. Just give these children some food so they can eat. Now, again, you must learn how to read competently. Make this your life's goal. You cannot have people leading you around because your emotions are all askew and you lack self-awareness and pride in yourself. In 1978, the world was shocked when they learned that 990 people in the United States had committed mass suicide. More than 220 children were killed by their parents. The children were given cyanide. These people were led to their deaths. For whatever reason, these people went looking for someone to believe in. They thought they found someone to believe in that would lead them to a better life. They gave their will over to their leader, and he chose to have them commit suicide. Lack of self-esteem, being persuaded to do something that you do not want to do, and reading are all tied together. You function poorly when you cannot read. Through reading, you become aware of self. Through reading, you gain knowledge that you help you to stand up for yourself. You learn life's lesson by reading how other people solve their problems. Reading is knowledge. Consequently, what is not reading? You have no knowledge. You can be convinced to do anything because you have no reference point. Years ago, a young man left his state and went to Pennsylvania and killed a union representative. Why? Because he could not read. He allowed someone else to lead him to murder. You cannot read, you can be convinced of anything because you have no reference point. You have no proof. You have no answer. You have no solution. Proof means verifiable results. When you have knowledge, you restrict yourself in the use of the word if. Think of some of the world's greatest writers: Ernest Hemingway, James Baldwin, Agatha Christie, Shakespeare, Somerset Maugham. Yes, these people were great writers, but they could also read competently. This is why they were so at writing. They learned about human behavior and their emotions by reading and learning to observe. John Steinbeck wrote his greatest novel, The Grapes of Wrath, in 1939, and it is still being read today. He knew how to read. The novels written by Sam Greenlee are still being read today. Believe me, reading will definitely teach you how to master yourself. There are hundreds of examples out there for you to read. Did you know that 1,034 priests died at Dachau? If you would read, you would know how and why. Do you know the name of the priest who was beheaded for not taking an oath of allegiance to Hitler? He was 39 years old when he was executed. Think about it. He knew he was going to die if he refused to take that oath. He could have lied and said yes to just save his life, and then he could have went about doing as he pleased. But this priest said no. He said, I will not lie to you, and I will not lie to myself. Was he not a well-read man? There was another execution of a female college student in Germany. Do you know her name? She and her brother did not believe Jewish students should be banned from Germany's universities. You would if you made a point of reading instead of watching television. Please read, I beg you. Stop watching television and pick up a book and read. You can learn so much by reading about the trials of other men. I am going to pause for a second to take a short break while you listen to information regarding willpower and encouragement. It is all a matter of learning new behaviors. And please remember, it is easier to build strong minds than to repair injured people. What I said is a modification of a quote by Frederick Douglass. He said, it is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. Now for my break.
Oftentimes, fear is defined as fantasized experiences appearing real. We all fear something. It could be doing what's never been done, or being scared for no just cause. These fears hold us down and create a fantasized, albeit unreal, experience. If you must move ahead in life, you must stand up to your fear. If you must be successful, you must pull through the unreal experiences that fear has created in you. And trust me, you need a good dose of courage to do exactly that. With courage, there's no stopping you. How can you summon the courage to face your fears? As a woman, you're amazing and you have great capabilities. Do not let anyone tell you otherwise. How then can you maximize these great capabilities? As you'll find out in the series, Women of Courage, the women we wrote about succeeded against all odds simply by standing up for themselves. Just like them, you can make your life count too.
Do you know why your life is in the toilet? Do you know why no one likes you? Do you know why your dog left you and your mother is not speaking? Or why your girlfriend left you? Or why you can't hold a job more than 90 days? Do you want to know why every lunch hour you find yourself sitting in your car drinking a beer? You're addicted to cigarettes and alcohol, and how many times have you overdosed on pills? Your problems stem from a lack of knowledge. Your thinking is distorted. You do not know how to manage your life. You've got a secret, and that secret is killing you. You're hiding the fact that you do not read or you cannot read. Face it. Have the courage to tell yourself you cannot read. This is your first step towards change. By not reading, you are refusing to change. You are satisfied living the same old life day in and day out, making excuses for yourself while other people pass you by. Change will not come if we wait for some other person or some other time. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the change that we seek. President Obama. Get your life back on track by learning to read. Reading is your first step towards a better life. Stop being envious and jealous. Learn to read. Join us every Friday at Women of Courage to gain information that will help you manage your life. Education is the most powerful weapon you can use to change the world. Nelson Mandela. You must read as if your life depends on it, because it does. Twice a month on Saturday, I meet with my listeners for a discussion about issues affecting women. Join us. For dates, times, and directions, you can reach us at murderedvoices@gmail.com. Stop thinking there's nothing you can do to change the world. Your life is important. For more information on our books or subjects discussed, email us at murderedvoices@gmail.com.
At what point did you think this was going to be easy? At what point did you think this was going to be handed to you? This is life. Every moment, every second, as precious as the next. I don't care if you've lost. I don't care if you failed. I don't care if you've hit bottom. As long as that hunger still lies inside, as long as that light still flickers, you fight. We fight for the people that believe in us. We fight for the moments, we fight for the seconds. We fight for the pride. We fight for the dreams. We fight. We always fight.
Twice a month on Saturday, I meet with my listeners for a discussion about issues affecting women. Join us. For dates, times, and directions, you can reach us at murderedvoices@gmail.com. Stop thinking there's nothing you can do to change the world. Your life is important. For more information on our books or subjects discussed, email us at murderedvoices@gmail.com.
If you have reached a point where you are stuck, having a sense of tiredness, coming from seeing all of your dreams and visions of success get obscured with the lack of experience, guidance, and knowledge necessary for success, learning from Women of Courage may be the most important thing you've read this year. Living a passionate life in a hectic and busy 21st century is getting increasingly harder. Women of Courage series will provide you with all the inspiration, courage, and role model you need to get inspired and take your life in your hands and start living as bravely, as passionate as you deserve.
There is an announcement regarding reading. Listen closely. Take your time and listen to what is being said to you regarding reading. This can change your life. Reading can change your life.
You must read. The lives of your children and the survival of your family depend on what you know and what you do not know. You cannot continue to conduct your life making life-changing decisions based on what you learned 10, 20, or 30 years ago. You must obtain new information through reading. You cannot depend upon talk radio or conversations with your friends to obtain new information. You must begin reading for your survival. The world has changed. You are behind. Admit it. Now change. Whether you like reading is not important. What is important is that you must do more with your life. You say you are a good mother, but are you? If you are not reading, taking in new information to incorporate into your life to become a new person, then you are not a good mother. Why? Because children read when they see their parents read. Children mimic their parents because of their parents' example. Your children need to see you read. Your child will learn to value what you value. If you're not taking in new information, what makes you think your children are growing intellectually? It is not nice to be told you may not be a good mother because you are not reading. But it is not time to be nice. It is time for Black people to begin reading in earnest. Nothing is more important than reading. Nothing. Books should be everywhere in your home and car. Your children should be encouraged to read every day and not watch television. Their time is too valuable to be wasted watching mind-numbing shows or playing video games. You should have your child tested to make certain he or she can read competently. Reading competently means your child can not only tell you what he or she has read, your child can explain what he or she has read in writing. If your child cannot read, he or she has no time for TV. You must stop getting your nails done, purchasing wigs, or $100 purses, and find your child a tutor. If your child cannot read, the only thing you should be doing with your money is paying for a tutor. We are inventive and we are creative. All we need is to catch up with technology, which we can only do through reading. How many Black children that you know this information? Winifred Edgerton Morrell was the first Black female to earn a PhD in mathematics. She earned this degree from Columbia University in 1886. Euphemia Lofton Haynes was the first African-American woman to earn a PhD in mathematics. She earned the degree in 1943 from Catholic University. Euphemia Haynes was also the 9th African-American to earn a PhD. The second African-American woman to earn a PhD in mathematics was Evelyn Boyd Granville. She earned her degree in 1949 from Yale University. The third African-American woman to earn her PhD in mathematics was Marjorie Lee Brown, University of Michigan in 1950. Argelia Velez Rodriguez is the fourth African-American female to earn a PhD in mathematics. She earned the degree in 1960 from the University of Havana. Sadie Gassaway is the fifth African-American female to earn a PhD in mathematics. She earned the degree in 1961 from Cornell University. Lillian K. Bradley is the first Black woman to earn any kind of doctorate in any field at the University of Texas. She earned her DED in 1961 at great sacrifice. The University of Texas is known in the intellectual community as a citadel of racial discord. In the year 2000, the University of Maryland became the first school to graduate 3 African-American women with PhDs. The women are Tasha Inez, Sherry Scott, and Kimberly Weems. Althea Gibson became the first Black woman champion at Wimbledon in 1957. She won the title again in 1958. Bessie Coleman was the first female and the first Black woman to receive her pilot's license. Fédération Aéronautique Internationale, June 15, 1921. Jamie McLeod became one of 7, the first Black female graduates of the CITAL, May 9, 2002, of Wadmalaw Island, SC. Natosha Michelle of Dyersburg, Tennessee. Nancy Mace became the first female cadet to graduate from the Citadel in 1999. Johnny Rawlinson was approved as the first Black female judge of the 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals, which covers the states of Alaska, Arizona, California, Hawaii, Idaho, Nevada, Montana, Oregon, and Washington. She was also the first Black woman to hold a position on the U.S. District Court of Nevada. Venus Williams, age 20, became the first Black women's champion in July 8, 2000, Saturday, in 43 years, to women the first Grand Slam title. Sisters Serena Jamaica Williams, age 18, and Venus Ebony Star Williams, 19, are the first sisters to each win a Grand Slam in tennis history. They would know this information if you made certain they spent time reading a book every day.
I am going to pause for a second to take a short break while you listen to information regarding willpower and encouragement. It is all a matter of learning new behaviors. And please remember, it is easier to build strong minds than to repair injured people. What I said is a modification of a quote by Frederick Douglass. He said, "It is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men." Now for my break.
Oftentimes, fear is defined as fantasized experiences appearing real. We all fear something. It could be doing what's never been done, or being scared for no just cause. These fears hold us down and create a fantasized, albeit unreal, experience. If you must move ahead in life, you must stand up to your fear. If you must be successful, you must pull through the unreal experiences that fear has created in you. And trust me, you need a good dose of courage to do exactly that. With courage, there's no stopping you. How can you summon the courage to face your fears? As a woman, you're amazing and you have great capabilities. Do not let anyone tell you otherwise. How then can you maximize these great capabilities? As you'll find out in the series, Women of Courage, the women we wrote about succeeded against all odds simply by standing up for themselves. Just like them, you can make your life count too.
Do you know why your life is in the toilet? Do you know why no one likes you? Do you know why your dog left you and your mother is not speaking? Or why your girlfriend left you? Or why you can't hold a job more than 90 days? Do you want to know why every lunch hour you find yourself sitting in your car drinking a beer? You're addicted to cigarettes and alcohol, and how many times have you overdosed on pills? Your problems stem from a lack of knowledge. Your thinking is distorted. You do not know how to manage your life. You've got a secret, and that secret is killing you. You're hiding the fact that you do not read or you cannot read. Face it. Have the courage to tell yourself you cannot read. This is your first step towards change. By not reading, you are refusing to change. You are satisfied living the same old life day in and day out, making excuses for yourself while other people pass you by. Change will not come if we wait for some other person or some other time. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the change that we seek. President Obama. Get your life back on track by learning to read. Reading is your first step towards a better life. Stop being envious and jealous. Learn to read. Join us every Friday at Women of Courage to gain information that will help you manage your life. Education is the most powerful weapon you can use to change the world. Nelson Mandela. You must read as if your life depends on it, because it does. Twice a month on Saturday, I meet with my listeners for a discussion about issues affecting women. Join us. For dates, times, and directions, you can reach us at murderedvoices@gmail.com. Stop thinking there's nothing you can do to change the world. Your life is important. For more information on our books or subjects discussed, email us at murderedvoices@gmail.com.
At what point did you think this was going to be easy? At what point did you think this was going to be handed to you? This is life. Every moment, every second, as precious as the next. I don't care if you've lost. I don't care if you failed. I don't care if you've hit bottom. As long as that hunger still lies inside, as long as that light still flickers, you fight. We fight for the people that believe in us. We fight for the moments, we fight for the seconds. We fight for the pride. We fight for the dreams. We fight. We always fight.
Twice a month, on Saturday, I meet with my listeners for a discussion about issues affecting women. Join us. For dates, times, and directions, you can reach us at murderedvoices@gmail.com. Stop thinking there's nothing you can do to change the world. Your life is important. For more information on our books or subjects discussed, email us at murderedvoices@gmail.com.
If you have reached a point where you are stuck, having a sense of tiredness, coming from seeing all of your dreams and visions of success get obscured with the lack of experience, guidance, and knowledge necessary for success, learning from Women of Courage may be the most important thing you've read this year. Living a passionate life in a hectic and busy 21st century is getting increasingly harder. Women of Courage series will provide you with all the inspiration, courage, and role model you need to get inspired and take your life in your hands and start living as bravely, as passionate as you deserve.
Every day we wake and drive to work, and we see people walking around, smiling, giving the appearance of happiness, and we envy them. We wish that our lives were like theirs. We drive home and turn on the television, and we see people walking around smiling at their friends and spouses, and we envy them, and we wish we could live a life just like theirs. These thoughts bring misery into our lives because we believe what our eyes see. We accept what is in front of us as being true. We do not see the makeup artist in the background making the final touch-ups to the actor's face. We do not see the diet pills the actors shovel down their throats at night so they can avoid eating. We believe what we see, and what we see makes us miserable. We want to trade places. We begin to think, why could it not have been me? Why could I not have a car like that? Why could I not have a wife like that? Why could I not have a husband like that? Why could I not have a house like that? On and on the questioning continues until finally we are dissatisfied with the world around us. Why could I have not been born to parents like that? All these questions force us to turn inward, and we attack ourselves. We begin to say, I thought Mary would make a wonderful wife when I married her. Now she has grown fat. She complains every day. She never stops. I wake in the morning and she complains. I drive to work and she calls complaining. I come home at night and she complains. Will nothing change? Or you think, I thought Tom would make a great husband. Now I know all he thinks about is the next woman he's going to take to bed. I'm tired of watching him. I just don't care anymore. If he wants to take the entire neighborhood to bed, I don't care. How did I get here? Am I destined to live a life I do not want? A life I hate? Is there nothing going to change? Every day we make changes, we negotiate with ourselves. We make comparisons and we come up short, and we become more and more unhappy. This is why you must take action. Otherwise, your unhappiness will lead you to alcohol, drugs, petty feuds at work, extramarital affairs, obesity, then death. Yes, unhappiness can lead to death. This is why you must take control over your life. No matter where you find yourself, you must take control of your life. Taking control will not be immediate, but the more you work at reclaiming your life and restoring yourself, control will come. You must be careful when you start your reclamation process because others around you will not want you to change. They will want you to remain the unhappy person you have always been. If you decide to return to school, keep it to yourself. If you decide to buy a new house, keep it to yourself. If you decide to move out of state, keep it to yourself. People have gotten used to the old you, and the new you may have problems exerting authority over your life with others and putting a down payment on the future. You simply may want to learn to play the piano. Do not listen when someone tells you you're too old to learn to play. If you want to learn to play the piano, do just that. Read the ads in the paper and find a teacher or contact a local school for an instructor and begin learning to play the piano. This is your life, not anyone else's. Have you noticed how mean some older people are? The meanest comes from dissatisfaction. They spent their entire life doing what was expected of them.
The books, The Devil's Whisper, If You Believe in God, You Do Not Belong in Prison, and The Devil's Cauldron were written for the person that finds him or herself in a dark place. You get to this dark place by allowing people and or circumstances to weigh you down. These books will give you a way back. They provide you with tools that you can use to fight your way back to light. When you let your fears or depression control you, your thinking becomes chaotic. You do not problem solve correctly. Your body records the statement of your mind and you feel sick. As soon as you begin to feel uncomfortable or feel on edge, you need to examine your thoughts. If you get a sick feeling in the pit of your stomach, or you get a headache, or you begin to frown, or you cannot smile, you need to begin to ask yourself, why am I thinking this way? What thoughts changed the way I was feeling? Your mind is sending negative images to your body. These images are taking you to a dark place, especially if you feel like running. Remember, unpleasant situations cause dark thoughts, or making comparisons also causes dark thoughts. Betty has a new dress. She really looks pretty and people like her. I don't have a new dress, so I don't look pretty and people don't like me. Consider this. Robert left home yesterday morning looking for a job, but he did not find a job. Therefore, you conclude, if I leave home looking for a job, I will not be able to find a job. First of all, this is a stupid assumption. How do you know Robert? I am going to repeat some information that we discussed earlier, I think in our 5th session. This is very important. You must have some information about yourself in order to change. You must have an idea of your self-image. You must have an idea of your self-esteem, whether you have what we would consider a normal self-esteem or low self-esteem. This is very important if you're going to attempt a change. If you are not satisfied with the person who you are, then you must change that person. But in order to change that person, you need tools. The question is, what do you see when you look in the mirror, and what do you see in your mind? We're going to discuss self-image and confidence. Self-image is how you see yourself. This may be how you see yourself physically, or your opinion of who and what you are, which is normally called self-concept. It is important as it affects your self-esteem and confidence. Your self-image includes what you think you look like, how you see yourself personally, what kind of person you think you are, what you believe others think of you, how much you like yourself or you think others like you, the status you feel you have. What does self-image have to do with self-esteem? Self-esteem is how you feel about yourself. Image is about how you see yourself and how you believe others see you. They are closely connected because if you have a poor opinion of yourself, your self-esteem will be low. You need to read books that will show you how to feel good about yourself. If you're having problems with relationships, it could be your self-image. Image has to do with perception. How you see yourself is vital because this will affect your behavior, your thinking, and how you relate to others. People respond to you either positively or negatively according to how confident you are. Your confidence in relationship depends on the image you have of yourself. Consequently, you should concentrate on improving your communication skills. By doing this, you are self-assured that you are communicating with people correctly. How you see yourself is often different from how others see you. Your view of yourself is shaped by your unique thoughts and beliefs, and you will have a distorted view. You will see yourself in a positive or negative way according to your level of self-esteem. You may have a negative view of yourself, and if so, you are probably highly critical of yourself. Here's a good question. How do you improve your self-esteem and confidence? You want to increase your self-confidence at work, in your daily life, or improve your relationships? First, list things you like about yourself. Include your appearance, your personality, and your skills. Now you need to change negative thoughts into positive thoughts by focusing on the positive aspects of yourself, forgetting the negative things that happen to you. Remember the compliments that people have given you and note them down. You should pay close attention to whether your view of yourself is accurate and why you see yourself the way you do. Changes that will help you. For example, your clothes, your appearance, your hairstyle.
What are you going to do? The Bible is the greatest self-help and how-to book ever written. But have you paid any attention to its instructions, or are you waiting until you are bald and infirmed before consulting God? Are you waiting for the hour of your death before saying, God, I would like to go to heaven? Is there room up there for me? What if God turns to you and says, I never knew you? Then what? You will never be with him in paradise. An unexamined life is unworthy of you. Examine why you give one grandchild more money than you do your other grandchildren. Read and find out what God has to say about favoritism, jealousy, envy, and anger. Why do you cut people off when you're driving, or speed up when the man in front of you turns on his turn signal? Why are you so hateful every time a woman walks past you and her breasts are larger than yours? Why are your thoughts filled with evilness and self-loathing? Read and find out what God has to say about your envy and jealousy. Where has your humility gone? There is no light left in your spirit? Why can't you get along with your coworkers and neighbors? Why is there so much strife in your life? Is your son in prison? What are you going to do about it? Are you going to sit there and wring your hands, or are you going to consult God for leadership ideas? Why have all your friends left you behind? What about the children born on the other side of the blanket? Are you going to die and not acknowledge you are their father? Just what are you going to do? More of the same, Or are you going to go to God for advice and change? Read, Meet Yourself and Change. If you are allowing emotions to rule your life rather than God's words, then you need to change. If you can sit and watch the news at night and listen to what man has to say, surely you can give a little time to God. Is there nothing you can do for God except go to church and tell the pastor, "I really enjoyed your sermon"? How long are you going to go through life sucking up the food and air God provided and doing nothing for God? Putting your 50 cents in the collection plate does not fulfill your obligation to God or the life He provided you. When you breathe your last breath, there is no more time to change. There was a man imprisoned in Texas for 30 years to life. He was innocent. The innocent man was in prison, and the guilty man was outside drinking beer and sunning himself. He, the killer, had made a bargain with the prosecution to testify against the innocent man. The innocent man in Texas kept writing people until finally one of his letters reached an elderly woman. The woman believed him and began a writing campaign of her own. Finally, her letters reached a group of lawyers who agreed to re-examine the case. Their re-examination and legal fight led to the innocent man being freed. What would have happened to this man if that woman had not believed she could make a difference? What would have happened to this innocent man if this woman did not believe she could do something for God? There was an innocent man imprisoned in Alaska. A 78-year-old woman heard about his case and began writing lawyers trying to get him some help. He too was freed because a 78-year-old woman believed in herself and that her life mattered. Is there not anything you can do for the Lord besides going to church and saying amen? Just because you are on the building committee does not make you a servant of the Lord. God said, help your fellow man, not go to church and be a deaconess parading around church in your uniform. Is there not anything you can think to do for the Lord besides praying? How long are you going to keep going to church, listening to the choir, and having a good time? One of the world's greatest resistance movements was the Montgomery bus boycott. People put their lives on the line for one another. They faced an evil and used their bodies to stand in its path. Their action changed the world. Their actions told people everywhere, even a poor man has power. You have power, but you do not use this power. You continue to believe what other men have told you. So every day you sit with your cigarette and drink away your life, imagining what you could do with your life if only such and such would happen. There are children suffering all over this country. Is there nothing you can do for the Lord to alleviate this suffering? God is not impressed that you are not a deacon in the church, nor is He impressed that you are a member of the usher board. What have you done for Him? Being an usher or a deacon is a man-made assignment. Do you think that is all God wants you to do for Him, is to be a deacon or usher in a church? The second greatest commandment is, love thy neighbor as thyself. Have you done this? Are you saying there are no more possibilities to your life except being a deacon and an usher? What are you going to do today that is different than what you did yesterday? Are you going to sit and continue to brood over the circumstances of your life? Or are you going to take charge of your life, read a book, and change? Are you going to allow God's Word to heal your mind and cause action in your life? There is always one last morsel you can snatch from life.
When I lost everything and had to live in my car, I had a person to forecast gloom and doom into my life. She said the only person in the world that I loved would desert me. This did not happen. When a doctor punched a hole in my heart and sewn me back up, and I bled inside my chest cavity for 7 days, I did not die. God sent me an angel to help me. When cancer visited me, I did not die. God sent me an angel to stand by me. I still have both these friends today. They have seen the best of me and the worst of me. I say unto you, believe and stand fast. Help is on the way. Thank you for listening to Women of Courage, and have a great day.